Always a pleasure to be at JNU, particularly HRDC. I've been visiting for the past couple of years and been on the Academic Council of JNU, been in the IQAC. So it's going back to your family and I'm really glad that my friend has now taken over as the head of the Center for Media Studies and he's doing a great job. Now, social media. Well, we all know what social media is all about, and we ought to know because as Indians we are among the largest, not just consumers but also users of social media. We have, and I'm sure these statistics are available on the internet and they're changing with every passing day, whether it is the number of Facebook users, WhatsApp users, smartphone users. These statistics are available across the internet and their numbers are growing. Now, what does it mean for us as a democracy? Well, social media has heralded the democratization of media. Often when you talk about social media, among the first references you talk about is the Tahrir Square and how social media was able to give a platform to the collective anger of the people. And very soon we had the example of the Anna movement, where we saw how social media echoed the voices of people, and then alongside we also saw the Nirbhaya protests across India. So one question, in fact, the advocates of social media who passionately advocate the cause of social media often say that social media has now become the new platform for protests. It can change a lot of it has become the platform for the younger generation to raise their voices. I agree to a great extent, but I still believe that social media is another media platform, and that social media at best can be an aggregator of these voices, but social media per se cannot trigger a movement on its own. There is popular resentment among the people, and the social media is able to echo that. That's what social media can do. Social media on its own cannot trigger a movement. We didn't have a social media, forget that, we didn't even have electronic media except the radio when the independence movement of this country was at its peak. Except few newspapers, and that too most of them compromised. During the emergency, there was a popular movement among the people which led to the downfall of that regime post-emergency. Now, we didn't have any social media at that time also. But then the people were out there without a social media, without electronic media, without even print media to a great extent. Now, that means that social media at best can give a collective voice. It can inform others about the movement. So it can be an aggregator, it can give platform to a lot of them who are not physically able to participate in the democratic process. So virtually they are able to. But then social media has its flip sides also. Social media activism has also seen that it has made people lethargic. People feel that they can respond to their consciousness by making a post, Facebook post or a Twitter update. With that, their social consciousness or responsibility will get over. I don't have to do anything beyond this. Let me just, there is an issue of a discrimination, just let me put out a post, that's it. There is injustice happening, let me put out a post. That's it. I don't have to come out on the streets, I don't have to raise my voice, I don't have to sit on dharna or satyagraha. I just have to make a 3-4 line comment on the Facebook and I'm done with it. So in a way, you see a lot of social media revolutionaries today who will write a lot of stuff on a lot of things, but they are just not visible on the ground where they are actually needed. So you will find a lot of, yes, it does enable a discussion, it does trigger a discussion, a debate, but at the ground level, you find it to be a very superficial exercise where the ordinary person has very little to do with it. Another concern, because we are all, belonging to the intellectual segment of the society, wherein we all have thinking faculties, we think about the society. What social media has done is that while on the one hand it has connected me to my schoolmates, my classmates, 40-year-old classmates, 50-year-old classmates, but it has distanced me from people within my home and people in my neighborhood. In the same house, I will find people sitting in different rooms and communicating with each other rather than spending quality time together. So social media has certainly made us individual republics. There was a time when we have all become Atmanirbhar. We don't need anybody now. No need for family, no need for... Only thing is that the smartphone, it should have, the battery life should be good. I should have a backup and I should have internet connectivity. I have in fact read many posts by celebrities who say that, they don't mind being left alone in an island provided they have a smartphone and an internet connection. I mean, what a tragedy. You are in an island and you should be enjoying that rather than even in an island if you are just looking at, imagine me being in Hawaii or in Andaman and Nicobar and I am just looking at the stupid phone and spending my time. But then that's what they say, because the phone has become, you go whether you are in a metro station. I remember this was the same case a decade back when I used to take the tube, whether it's in Vienna or London or Seoul. I would see the same kind of and today I find it happening in India also, whether it is in the metro train or in the train. Hardly you hear conversations between people. My father's best friend he acquired during a train journey. You know, they became so fast friends. You know, but today, I mean, you travel in a train, everybody is awake, you can see the light from under the blanket, people don't sleep, but people don't speak to each other. We are communicating, yet we have become incommunicado with our own neighbors, our own people. This is the irony of the social media times. I'm sure a lot of psychologists and sociologists are really looking into it. I don't have to talk about, because this is a very, intellectual audience, about the impact of social media, particularly among the younger generation. They have, in many localities, they have stopped going out. The outdoor activities have come to a standstill. As a result, lifestyle diseases are catching up, even with youngsters. They hardly interact with children of their age, and there is a growing addiction to social media, whether it is PUBG and all those games, or the Instagram. People are spending hours and hours and hours, and this, somewhere we are grooming a generation which knows what is happening in New York or Nairobi, but it doesn't know what is happening in its own neighborhood. That's a generation that's being groomed up. The second thing is that the kind of consumption that is taking place. Today, you see children who are getting exposed to adult content like never before. They are not mature enough to handle that kind of content. Today, what I would have known at the age of 21, today a 10-year-old or 11-year-old child is aware of that. I don't have to go into the details of it. Now, is the 10-year-old child mature enough to handle that kind of information is the big question. When I hear school kids talking like adults on many issues, I am a little worried, because is it the kind of content that they should be getting exposed to? Parental control is minimal, because you see a lot of working parents, both of them, and the kid is exposed, and the best tool that the parents are today giving to their kids are the smartphones. If the child has to be kept quiet, we used to take our kids to the terrace and show them the crow, the parrot, and today they can be shown only a mobile phone and they will be happy with it. 6-month-old children. I do not wish to talk about the physical impact, including the impact on their eyes and other, which is a different topic altogether. But the kind of exposure. Now, coming to adolescence. The children are getting exposed to a lot of cyberbullying. You have pedophiles, the dark net is there and pedophiles are there. Recently, a Kerala newspaper did a series of stories with the reporters starting fake IDs in the name of children to see the kind of response that's happening. and they were shocked that even 10 to 11-year-old girl children and even male children were being subjected to by adults in the society who were trying to befriend them, call them home, send them very nude and vulgar pictures. This is something that has become a subject of study today. The children kind of getting exposed. I came across at a UNICEF workshop, I came across an incident where an adolescent girl, she was unable to share her feelings, share her concerns with her parents. The parents didn't give her that kind of confidence like any lower middle class family, where due to conservatism many issues are considered taboo, and they just did not get the confidence to share it with their near and dear ones. That girl was concerned about the changes in her physical being, and she shared her concerns with an agony aunt on the internet. What happened subsequently was that the parent, one of her cousins, though he admitted later that he visits porn sites, but he was shocked to find his sister, her photographs, her morphed videos on a porn site. He immediately reported the matter to the parents, and the matter came to light. Police action was taken. But by then it was too late. The child has been exposed. The child went through a trauma. The videos became viral. So here this child was not even aware. She was only sharing that she was going through a physical change, and the agony aunt asked her to show the changes to her on video, and everything was recorded and subsequently put on child porn websites. This is the kind of things that are happening to our kids. You have had instances where teenagers have murdered their parents because they did not give them or snatched away their smartphones. Yet the fact remains that smartphones have changed the way we live. From the rickshaw puller in the city to the domestic help to the manual laborer in the agricultural farms, today you will find everybody using smartphone, people using social media extensively. The result is that there is a plethora of the floodgates of content have opened 24 into 7 into 365. But what is the kind of content that they are watching is a big concern. Is it all nice content that they are watching? Who are preparing the content? Today, all kinds of elements have penetrated the internet. Political, ideological, terrorist organizations have penetrated. Blatantly communal, blatantly casteist material is being circulated, creating divisions within the society. Perhaps in no point of history such kind of venom was spewed and was reaching every bedroom, every drawing room. People are watching YouTube videos, WhatsApp videos. So this entire, I often say that what a tragedy that today this land of Nalanda, Takshashila and Vikramashila universities, today the biggest university in this country is the WhatsApp university. All the Gyan is coming from the WhatsApp university. All kinds of misinformation, disinformation, fake content is being circulated on this platform. What is happening as a result? You can see that happening in the society. In the absence of quality content, a lot of confusion is being created. It can be very innocent also. I remember a couple of years back, one of my staff members told me that, sir, he asked me in fact, sir, have you seen Indra's horse? I was taken aback. I said, what? He said, Lord Indra's horse, have you seen? I said that, okay, but I had read that he uses the Airavat. But has he started riding a horse? He said, yes. And I have seen that horse. I said, show me that horse. He showed me that horse on the mobile. Using animation technology, special effects, the thunderbolt was given the shape of a horse and it was shown galloping among the clouds. For a novice, somebody who has hardly gone to school, this was real. For somebody like me who understood the technology of animation, visual effects, I knew that how this video has been created. But these are the kind of videos which are today being spread across the country. All kinds of superstitions are being spread. All kinds of misinformation and disinformation. Now, I'm sure that you know the distinction between the two. A misinformation is an information that we share unintentionally without knowing its harmful impact. It is often shared in good faith. For example, during the COVID, I am sure that many of you received WhatsApp messages which said that put 2 drops of lemon juice in your nostril and you will be cured of COVID-19. Now, when you and I received it, we thought that our relatives and friends should not be deprived of this great knowledge which has come to me. Let them also get cured of COVID-19. In fact, I got this message from I am sorry to say, from a retired DGP, Director General of Police. During COVID, he had just called up to inquire about my health, and I told him that I have a little sore throat and feeling a little cold, so I'm taking steam and all that. He said, no. Just take lemon, cut it into 2 pieces, put 2 drops each into your nostril. I asked him, have you done it, sir? He said, no, I didn't do it. I got a WhatsApp message. So I'll share it with you. And he shared me that message. I wish we can send lemons to China right now and help that country to get cured of COVID. But it doesn't work like that. But this was spread all over. This is how misinformation is spread. I am sharing it because of my concern. I am not doing it with the objective to harm anyone. Then there is disinformation. The whole objective of disinformation is to create panic, create division, create confusion in the society. For example, you have a very strong lobby of anti-vaccinators both in the West and also in India. But mostly in West, they are a very strong lobby. In fact, one of the lead players, I'm sure you know, that refused to take the vaccination to participate in a global tournament. They are very strong. So from the West, it got circulated that if you take the vaccine, it was attributed to a Nobel Science laureate, and it was said that within a year of taking the vaccine, you will die. Now this was mischief. The whole idea was to create a scare among the society about vaccine. And imagine, it was not just among the illiterate people. In fact, a leading hospital in Bangalore reported that most of the neighbors in its vicinity, most of the residents in its vicinity did not report for vaccination because they felt that let us wait, let us not hurriedly get this vaccine. They did not come for the first dose, they did not, they very reluctantly came for the second dose. The first round was a flop. They were not sure because this kind of, disinformation worked. Not to talk about the rural areas where we saw in my own state of Madhya Pradesh, you must have seen on television how, youngsters would climb on trees to avoid the people from giving them vaccines. They wanted to run away. So, this kind of misinformation was spread. In fact, during COVID, both the WHO Director General and the UN Secretary General had to make a fervent appeal. And they said that this infodemic, they use the word infodemic, is worse than pandemic. Infodemic meaning an overdose of information about whose reliability and trustworthiness you are not sure. So you have information from coming, you are being carpet bombed with all kinds of information, but you are not sure about its authenticity, about its originality, about its reliability. Now this has led to a global crisis where if the UN Secretary General is saying that it's worse than the pandemic itself, if you remember the kind of stories that were floated all around during the lockdown, how trains were starting from a particular, and people would just, gather there in huge numbers, leading to it becoming a COVID hotspot. And then subsequently you realize that there is no train from there. It happened in Bandra. But then COVID gave this a trigger for this kind of information, because people were all confined within the four walls of their homes and were constantly accessing information from whichever source they would get it. And that's when the WhatsApp University wreaked havoc. You had stories about how taking the vaccination could lead to impotence, which gained currency at that time. Educated people refused to take vaccines, saying that no, it could lead to impotence. Now, this is the kind of, things that happened on the social media. But does it mean that social media is all bad? Social media is anti-social, anti-national, anti-humanity? No. Social media is like a fire. The fire can cook your food also. The fire can burn down your home also. You should know how to handle it. The problem is that we think that we don't need to understand the social media. We can take to social media the way fish can take to water. It is something which comes naturally to us. What is there to learn about social media? Social media has led to, or content in social media has led to killings, hatred, recruitments to organizations like IS. It has led to mob lynching. It has led to witch hunting. These are all statistically proved. Apart from all that things that I mentioned now. But social media also has a very, very positive impact. It has a democratized society like never before. It has a democratized media space, media landscape like never before. Voices which were hitherto unheard are being heard today. Stories which were hitherto untold are being told today. Chapters which were hitherto unwritten are being written today. Visuals that were unseen till today are being seen today. The power of social media. From the pauper to the Prime Minister, they are utilizing it to the hilt. Social media, one may have complaints, all these things that we mentioned. Yet, one cannot ignore the power of the social media. I can reach out to the powers that be sitting in the comforts of my house by tagging a few people. And I have done it. Myself, I am sure all of you have done it. When companies have failed to deliver, when government institutions have failed to respond, I have used Twitter to reach out to them and I have got responses. We should know how to reach out. We should learn the dynamics of social media. And that is why there is this constant demand for media literacy. I have been for the past several years calling for a national media literacy mission. Each one of us, every one of us, from 5-year-old to 95-year-olds are getting exposed to media like never before. Media literacy is not something which is only for people from the media. Media literacy is different from media education. I am heading Asia's first and India's largest media university with 4 campuses, 1,600 affiliated colleges and 1.25 lakh students. Many of them are into media education. Media education is different from media literacy. Media education is pursuing a career, pursuing education for a career in media. Whereas media literacy is something that every citizen of this country should be aware of, particularly because we are a democracy. And it has to start right from the primary curricula. Of course, it has to be a graded kind of teaching. Media literacy has to be part of the curricula. We teach our young children about good touch and bad touch. It is important that we teach our children also about good media and bad media, lest they become victims of the dark net, cyber blackmail, cyber frauds, cyber bullying, cyber pedophilia. They need to understand media, its economics, its dynamics, because in the absence of such knowledge, there is every possibility that they can get misguided. Media is the 4th pillar of democracy. We teach about the judiciary in our classrooms. We teach about the legislature in our classrooms. We teach about the executive in our classrooms. Why are we keeping out media from our classrooms? It's important that media literacy has to be a part of our general studies, general understanding, right from primary to college and university level. Understanding media, understanding fake content, understanding how to verify, check, recognize fake content. Because it is this fake content, you have seen even senior journalists getting carried away by fake content. What about you and me? Any video which goes viral can misguide a large section of our populace which is not literate or who are semi-literate. They can get easily misguided by a propaganda video. Our children need to know, our students need to know, our younger generation need to know what is to be liked, what is to be shared, what is to be reported, how to report content, the need to report content. This has to be there. In the absence of that, how do I understand the dynamics of media in a democracy? So, social media has got immense potential. It can be a catalyst for change. Beautiful stories can be told through the social media. Of course, you can put your selfies, the lovely food that you cooked this morning, all that can be part of social media. But social media also can be a powerful tool for change, because that is where the younger generation is. And that brings me to the issue of, we always talk about the digital divide. The digital haves and the digital have-nots. The digital natives and the digital migrants. In fact, I even say that, in history we divide history into two parts, BC and AD, before Christ and Anno Domini. I divide media into two parts, BG and AG, before Google and after Google. I belong to the before Google generation, who has started transforming to the after Google generation. We are learning the ropes. But there is a whole generation, the millennials, who had these smartphones from the day they were born. They are used to it. But there is a digital divide also. You have people who still don't have access to electricity, access to smartphone, and access to internet. So, how do you bridge this divide? We saw during the pandemic, when classes went online, so many of our students could not match up to so many of our students who were able to learn even while being at home. They lost out because they didn't have access, they didn't have availability of internet, of smartphone. Also, an equally concerning issue is that of the content divide. We talk about digital divide, but I am talking about content divide. What is the kind of content that a child from an affluent family is watching, and what is the kind of content a child from a poorer background is watching? And that is shaping their lives. I know of students from middle class families who are watching C-dramas, K-dramas, K-pop, BTS, anime. But the students from poorer backgrounds, weaker sections, are watching all kinds of vicious stuff on their smartphones. They are not having access. The technology is the same. But because of their understanding, because of their mentoring, because of their deficiency in English language, they are getting content which is of a different kind, whereas the students in urban India, affluent India, are getting a different kind of content altogether. So, and that is shaping up their respective narratives. So it's not that you and I have phones, so we are all getting the same content. Because the AI is at work. Today we have reached the age of customized content. From the age of information, we are now in the age of conversations. We are now talking. Institutions like the British Broadcasting Corporation are now insisting that they are no more interested in likes and visits on their pages, impressions on their pages. They are now talking about active conversations on their pages, engagements. Let us talk about actual engagements. How many conversations are we able to trigger? My post, is it able to trigger a debate? So when you put your pic on the social media, so everybody will say nice, wonderful, great, awesome, lovely. But that's not striking a conversation. But when you put a content which gives you food for thought, which provokes you to think and respond, that's actual engagement. When people come on your FB, come on your Twitter handle and then start debating a particular issue. Of course, there are side effects like trolls and all that keeps happening. That's a platform which you cannot avoid. They will be there. If you are in for a public discussion, you should be, able to take it along with you. I, for one, believe in that. You can always report, you can always lodge a complaint. That option is always there. But what is important is that this is the age of conversations. Can we utilize the power, harness the power of social media to trigger new debates in the society which can bring about qualitative change in our lifestyle, in our attitude? Can I utilize the power of social media to bring about behavioral changes, attitudinal changes? For that, I will have to go in for storytelling, powerful storytelling, powerful visual storytelling. Please remember that attention spans have come down from several minutes to few seconds. Today, when I have the mobile phone with me, I am just doing it like this, swiping, flipping, and I see a lot of content. Is my content powerful enough to make the reader pause his thumb and start watching or reading that content? That is the big challenge before content creators today. The big challenge. Can you and I as content creators come with content which are meaningful, relevant, yet powerful to grab the attention of the viewer, the reader and the listener? And platforms are coming. From YouTube to podcasts, there is no dearth of platforms. Social media today is being used by educators and researchers for even research. A lot of youngsters are sharing their research, are doing their sample study. Social media has become a subject of research across India, rather across the world. Its dynamics are being studied, its impact is being assessed. A lot of research is being done. Can you and I come up with research that can make meaningful change in the way government organizations are utilizing the power of social media to bring about change? Can we come out with studies, case studies on how social media is driving change? And that's happening, though silently. So, friends, I was given 1 hour to speak on this subject. Social media, as I said, when Professor Manu Konda shared this subject with me, he said, "Sir, I leave it to you how to, discuss this." I thought that these were some of the issues related to social media which you and I should ponder over. Because we are all, as young media educators, you are all dealing with the young crowd, the millennials and the Generation X. How do you, the Generation Z, how do you deal with them through the social media is something that you and I need to know, you and I need to discuss, you and I need to ponder over. It has become a powerful tool, so much so that today at my university I am offering a course on social media management. We are grooming entrepreneurs who can manage social media platforms of professional organizations, of business organizations. We have got a course, we have started a course in mobile journalism. The whole idea is to create people who can, with only minimal technology, not high-end cameras, but with minimal technology of a mobile phone, they can do good quality journalism. We have started that kind of a course. So we, as an educational institution, are harnessing the power of social media. Look at just with one example, I will close it. I've got 3 more minutes to go. The social media management course that we have started, it's an entrepreneurial course. What is a passion for most of the students? Being on social media, using Instagram, using Facebook, using YouTube, podcasts. How they can convert it into a profession is what we are teaching them. For example, you are in Delhi and you are working out of Connaught Place. Just take every business outlet in CP wants to promote its products and services. But they don't have the wherewithal. They cannot appoint a person. Not everybody can appoint a team. It's only the huge corporates who can. So these boys and girls, after training, will just take 10,000 rupees from a shop or a showroom and handle their social media. And they will take 5 shops. Each individual will take 5 shops. Showroom, restaurant, whatever. And they will ensure they will take care of the social media handles of these 5 showrooms. From the word go, they are going to earn 50,000 rupees per month. And there are hundreds of shops, showrooms, restaurants, eating joints across India. How many of people can be employed in social media management? We are looking at how to harness the power of social media. And because it has immense capability, it has immense potential. But we also ensure that in this teaching process, we also talk about media literacy, how they have to be aware of it, of misinformation, of disinformation, of fake content, of how photographs can be morphed using technology, how audio can be distorted, and how video can be manipulated. This also needs to be taught. I'm sure social media is not just a subject of passion, but it has huge potential to become a professional tool, become a teaching tool. It has immense potential, provided we are aware of both its strengths and weaknesses. On that note, I will seek your permission to stop here. It was a pleasure addressing the young faculty members as part of the faculty induction program. I look forward to more interactions with you, not just virtually, but also physically, as and when we get an opportunity. My sincere thanks to Professor Manu Konda once again, and to the HRDC at JNU for inviting me to share some of my thoughts. It's such a huge subject, I can speak for hours, but there is a discipline of time which we need to maintain. I will keep the floor open for some questions in the next few minutes, and I look forward to a fruitful interaction. Thank you so much, and you can all connect with me on my social media platforms to know more about the different aspects of media through my YouTube, my Twitter handles, and please stay connected. Thank you so much.